Hello, I'm Paul, and this is Paul Plays with Fire. Welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by today. It's hot out here, it's summer, and you know what that means? It's time for cooking outdoors. And one of my favorite outdoor foods is ribs. We're gonna make pork ribs today, and we're gonna make it on my new pellet smoker. Doesn't that sound like fun? Stick around. If you know me, you know I like my toys. And this pellet smoker is the newest addition to my toy box. I've been having a really good time figuring out how to use it. This is my first pellet smoker. I'm a little late to the pellet smoker party, but I've been smoking meat for a long time. Here's a fun fact for you. I've been living here in this house for 40 years. And you know what this house has a lot of? It has a lot of hickory trees. So it only seemed natural to me that I would use some of that wood to smoke meat. I started out smoking meat on a Weber kettle grill. After that, I moved to a Weber bullet smoker. Boy, that thing holds a lot of meat. I remember one year we had 2 turkey breasts in there for Thanksgiving. Then I had a ceramic smoker for a while, but this is my first pellet smoker. I've been without a smoker for a while, so I finally broke down and bought this E-Grills pellet smoker. I got a really good price on it. It's not real complicated, it's not real fancy, but it really does the job. And when it comes to smoking meat, it makes it really simple. You literally just set it and forget it. You can just walk away from it and not worry about it, because it won't change temperature much. It has a PID controller for controlling the temperature. What's a PID controller, Paul? Well, a PID controller is proportional integral derivative. What's a derivative, Paul? I don't know, I just work here. And once that smoker gets up to temperature, it stays there. It holds the temperature really well, and even if you open it up, it comes back to temperature real quick. And like I said, we're gonna smoke some ribs today, and we're gonna keep it real basic because that's how I like it, just nice and simple. Earlier today, we took the ribs out of the packaging, rinsed them off, and then patted them dry. Then we flipped them meat side down so we can remove the membrane from the bony side of the rack. The easiest way I've found to do that is to take a small knife, kind of work your way underneath the membrane on a corner, and then grab that membrane with a paper towel and use it to keep a hold of it. Otherwise it's too slippery to hang on to. But the paper towel method works pretty good. Then I use salt and pepper to season both sides of the rack of ribs, and then turn them bone side down to let them rest in the fridge for a couple hours to brine. And that's what we have here. There's our 2 racks of ribs all ready to go. Doesn't that look good? Yummy. I've been using applewood pellets and hickory pellets for the most part. Hickory goes real well with ribs, so that's what we're gonna use today. So let's get the ribs in the smoker. Well, our pellet smoker is up to 250 degrees, so it's just where we want it. We're gonna get these ribs on there and see what we can do. And we're gonna put them on there, meat side up, and we'll just put them side by side. There's a really big rack here, so there's plenty of room for 2 of them. And this is actually the middle rack of the smoker. There's another rack that goes up here, but I never use it because we just don't need that much space. I think 1,000 cubic inches of rack space. We just don't need that much. So we're gonna put this one this way to alternate them a little bit. Make sure I have plenty of space between them. There we go. And we will see you in about 2 hours. The ribs have been in for 2 hours now, and it's time to get them out and wrap them in some foil and put some butter onto them. So we're just gonna take a couple good sized sheets of foil, big enough for the rack, and we always double wrap them because invariably the bones poke through the foil. And we'll get one of those out. Pretty good. They're not done yet, but they look real good. They got enough smoke on them. That's the important thing. And then we'll lay this bone side down. And then we'll put about a half stick of butter on each one. Just inside the foil work and melt to the bottom. It'll all find its way to the bottom, so it's not too important that you be too precise about it. You do want to be a little bit precise about wrapping it up though, just because you want to try and avoid poking the bones through the foil if you can help it. Then you get that second all-important foil wrapper in case you do poke the bones through the first wrapper. Just like that, we got a second set of ribs. We got a set of ribs. Now we're going to go in there and do the same thing with the second set. Man, that's good. And we'll let that go for another hour or so. The ribs have been on in foil for about an hour. The ribs have total been on for about 3 hours, just shy of 3 hours. So we're gonna pull them off, and I think they're ready to be sauced now. When they talk about ribs being falling off the bone tender, we don't really want that. We want our ribs to bite back when we bite into them a little bit. We want them to have just a little chew. We wanna leave a bite mark. That's really what we wanna do. So we'll pull one of the foil packages out and see what we got. We've got a mix of a little bit of barbecue sauce and just a little apple cider vinegar in order to thin it down just a little bit so it'll run, and when we put it on the ribs, we'll put it on the meat side and then we'll put them back in meat side and just long enough for that sauce to set up. Probably half an hour maybe. Let's see what we got. Boy, it smells good. Oh, it smells good. I think we got something here. It's starting to fall apart on us a little bit, and that's to be expected, but that's okay. We're gonna set this back out of the way. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's just have a little taste here. Oh boy, is that good. I tell you, that's why ribs are my favorite outdoor food to cook. Well, that's good. So we're just gonna spoon some of that sauce on real quick here so we can get it back on the fire so we can eat. Don't need to go over the edge because then it'll just run off into the fire anyway. And I've tried it both ways. I've tried saucing, I've tried not saucing, and it's just better with sauce. Okay, we'll pull off that other package, get it out of the way, and hopefully we can get this back in there without falling in two. There we go. Okay. Rinse and repeat. Maybe we'll grab it from the thick end this time. Nope, didn't matter. Ouch, that's hot. And all that butter that I put in there, mostly it just helped to keep it moist. Most of it's still in the foil, and we leave it behind when we take it out of the foil. Do the same thing. We're just gonna sauce them up real quick. Doesn't take much, and you don't need a lot. Just want to cover it, and then we'll put it in the fire to let it set. I could have probably pulled these off 20 minutes early, and I'd have been just fine. That's okay. Carly, get out of there. She wants the foil too. Carly, get out of there. Get out of there. Come on. Back in the pit we go. Get in there. Okay, we'll be back in about 20 minutes or half an hour, probably 20 minutes. One more thing I gotta mention. If you like seeing this kind of content, outdoor cooking and smoking and making pizza and stuff, maybe you should subscribe, because we do a lot of this stuff around here and we sure would love to have you around for it. So please subscribe, we thank you. Well, it is the moment of truth. Looks like we got a big old couple slabs of ribs about ready to come off the pellet smoker. So let's get after it and see what we got. I decided to use a 2 tongs approach because it was getting to be too much for me. That looks pretty good. The sauce is set up nicely. There, let's just bask in the wonderfulness that is this platter of ribs. That is just a thing of beauty. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna savor for a couple minutes here. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of hungry, so I'd say we cut into them and see how we did. You don't want to bite into a big old rack full of ribs without having something to wipe your face handy. So we're just gonna cut right about here. And we'll let that sit for a minute. Meanwhile, we'll kind of steal a little bit here and there. Look at that. Nice smoke ring. Okay, here we go. And for the thumbnail. Oh man. Well, it's leaving a bite mark. That's done about how I like it. And look at that smoke ring. Yum. It's almost like I know what I'm doing, and I don't. I really don't. Well, we made some pretty darn good ribs today. I'm really, really happy with myself. They're delicious, they're juicy, they're moist, they're tender, and yet they don't fall apart. Well, they fell apart a little bit, but that's okay. I'm Paul, and this has been Paul Plays with Fire. Thanks for watching.